Biliki Rice Nikunakong Chop. Biliki Rice Nikunakong Chop.
That was how every morning began at Olode Memorial College, with the sing-song voice of Mama Bilikisu echoing through the dusty schoolyard, a tray of steaming rice balanced on her head. Her voice was sweet, almost hypnotic, like the lullaby of a mother whose child should never wake. Every student at Olode knew the song. They sang it, they danced to it, they waited eagerly for break time just to get a plate of her glowing red-stained jollof. They called it Biliki Rice, and Mama Bilikisu? She wasn't just a food vendor. She was a tradition, the only one allowed inside the gates. No puff-puff woman, no suya man, no visiting parent could bring food in. Only her. The teachers never questioned it. The principal barely noticed. After all, what harm could a smiling old woman with rice do? But the students were changing. At first it was small things, headaches, strange dreams. Some of them began to whisper about sleep paralysis, shadows watching them at night, something pressing their chests as they tried to breathe. Others woke up screaming, claiming they saw things crawling under their bunk beds. But there was no proof, just pale faces, dry lips, sunken eyes, and it always happened after rice days. One by one, students started losing focus. Girls who were once brilliant began failing tests. Boys who could memorize 100 formulas suddenly couldn't spell their own names. Class captains stopped attending classes. School prefects wandered the halls looking confused. The teachers blamed puberty, or pressure, or poor parenting. Only one person saw the truth. Her name was Ireti. She wasn't the loudest or the smartest, but she watched. And she remembered. She remembered how Mama Bilikisu smiled too widely, how her tray never ran out, how the rice seemed to smell different every day, sometimes like rain, sometimes like burning hair. And she remembered what happened to Kosi. Kosi was her bunkmate, bright, bubbly, the life of the hostel, until the night she ate 3 plates of Biliki rice. The next morning, Kosi didn't wake up, not dead, but not alive either. She was just staring, wide-eyed, motionless, whispering things in a language no one understood. She stayed like that for days. Then she was taken home. Never came back. That was when Ireti stopped eating the rice. And everything changed. That night, while others snored and turned in their sleep, Ireti stayed awake. It was 2:03 a.m. when the dormitory door creaked open, but no footsteps followed. The light from the corridor flickered. The air turned cold. Then she saw her, Mama Bilikisu. But not as they knew her. She floated. Her wrapper didn't move with the wind. Her feet didn't touch the ground. Her fingers were long, curved, almost clawed. Her eyes glowed faintly. Her mouth muttered soft, sharp words that made the room feel heavier with every breath. She moved from bed to bed, whispering, and placing a finger on the foreheads of sleeping students. Only those who ate her rice. Each time her finger touched a forehead, a soft gray smoke lifted and swirled into the black calabash she carried. Ireti held her breath. When Bilikisu got to her bed, she paused. She sniffed the air, tilted her head, waited, then moved on. Ireti hadn't eaten. The next morning, the dormitory was filled with the smell of Dettol and sorrow. Nobody was laughing. Nobody fought over bathroom buckets. Half the hostel didn't even wake up for morning devotion. Some girls said they dreamt of a woman with no face feeding them rice with a spoon made of bones. Others said they couldn't remember anything from the night before. Ireti was shaking. She couldn't unsee what she saw. She watched, waited, counted, and each day, more students changed. They didn't die, but they weren't alive either. They failed exams they had studied for, forgot conversations, lost interest in everything. One afternoon, Ireti noticed something strange in her locker. A thin black thread, tied in a knot, sitting on top of her books. She hadn't put it there. No one had a reason to. She threw it away. But when she returned from class, another thread had appeared. This time, tied around her toothbrush. She didn't tell anyone. But she knew. Mama Bilikisu knew she had watched. Ireti was no longer just scared. She was broken, shaking. Her hands trembled when she touched her books. Her eyes darted when the wind brushed her neck. She told her roommates what she saw. The tray, the fingers, the smoke. But they laughed nervously. "You just need to sleep more," one muttered. "You day watch horror movie for dream," another said, not meeting her eyes. So she told a teacher. But all they said was, "Why are you awake at 2 a.m., Ireti? Stop imagining things. Go to sleep like everyone else." Ireti begged two of her remaining close friends, Nena and Tayo, to stay up with her. "Just tonight," she whispered. "Please, you have to see it." They agreed. So that night, all three girls stayed awake in their bunks, hearts pounding, pretending to sleep. And at 2:07 a.m., the door creaked open, the light flickered, the air turned sharp and cold. And then, she came. Mama Bilikisu, floating, finger raised, whispering. All three girls watched with wide eyes, too scared to scream. They huddled together, frozen, as she passed from bed to bed, placing her finger gently on each forehead. Each time, a wisp of smoke. Each time, it floated into her black calabash. But she skipped Ireti. She skipped Nena. She skipped Tayo. The next morning, the girls ran straight to the principal's office. "We saw her. She was floating. She was taking something from their heads." The principal blinked, smiled politely. Is this one of your hostel games?" "Girls, rest. There's no such thing." That afternoon, Mama Bilikisu returned with her tray, singing that same sweet chant.
Biliki Rice donant. Nikuna kong chop. Biliki Rice donant. Nikuna kong chop.
She danced, she smiled, she served, but she skipped three girls, Ireti, Nena, Tayo. They watched as the rest of the hostel swarmed around Mama Bilikisu like bees to sugar. That night, Nena and Tayo complained. "We're hungry. We can't continue like this because of you." By the next morning, Nena and Tayo were no longer beside Ireti. They were with the others, eyes duller, voices quieter, behavior off. They stopped talking to her. They locked their lockers. They avoided her like she carried a curse. Ireti, once again, was alone. Alone, and now marked. And still, the rice kept coming.
Biliki Rice donant. Nikuna kong chop. Biliki Rice donant. Nikuna kong chop.
That voice, sweet, ancient, calling them, every day, until one visiting day. Temi's mother came with a cooler of egusi soup, pounded yam, and mango juice. She was excited to see her daughter, but when Temi walked into the reception area, her mother gasped. Temi was gaunt. Her eyes looked far away. Her smile was empty. "What's wrong with you?" her mother asked. "I'm fine, Mummy. I'm just tired." But she barely touched her food, couldn't lift the cooler lid properly. Her hands shook. Her mother wept silently. She tried to report to the school, but the teachers said it was stress. The principal smiled politely and changed the topic. That night, Temi's mother did not leave. She found a local guest house nearby and waited. And that same night, Ireti, driven by fear and fury, snuck out of the dormitory. She walked carefully through the path to the guest house. She didn't know why her legs were moving, but they moved. She knocked. Temi's mother opened the door. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in a year. "What is happening to our children?" she whispered. Ireti told her everything. Everything. From Kosi to the nightmares. from the smoke to the black pot. The woman didn't cry. She took out her phone and began to call. By dawn, the gates of Olode Memorial were under siege. Parents had come, dozens, maybe more, some angry, some desperate, some weeping. Phones were recording, voices were raised. The teachers couldn't control it. Some hid, some panicked. The security men couldn't stop the flood of mothers and fathers. They stormed the hostel, and what they saw would haunt them forever. Children lying on beds like dolls, blank stares, dry lips, cold sweat, some whispering strange words, others catatonic. Nobody could explain it. Nobody could stop it. Mama Bilikisu was nowhere to be found. Her table? Gone. Her tray? Gone. Her rice? Gone. Some said she vanished through the back fence. Others claimed they saw her turn into smoke and disappear. The school shut down that same evening. Government men came with files and frowns, but there was nothing to investigate. No proof, no records, no trace, just silence, and children who would never be the same. Temi never spoke again. Kosi never returned. And the students who remained, they didn't forget. Sometimes at night, even years later, they still wake up gasping, still feel a finger on their forehead, still dream of rice boiling over a fire made from bones. And when the harmattan wind carries a certain smell, that firewood jollof smell, sweet and smoky, they hold their breath and whisper, "Mama Biliki has come again."
Biliki Rice Donald. Nikuna Kong Job. Biliki Rice Donald. Nikuna Kong Job.
This chant became a nightmare for students in boarding school.